Well, hi there. I'm Randy Cross, and this is Unsafe Spaces. This week's episode, a little bit different than things we do usually here. We won't have an interview. There will be a certain theme to this week's episode, and that will be the Army-Navy game that just happened this last weekend. And there's a few clips you're going to see in the show that I just have to show. One, because I love it, and two, because they're just to recognize the production that went on and some of the amazing work by my colleagues at CBS Sports. And the first thing I want to show you, if you did not see it, here is the open to the Army-Navy game, and I think it's the best thing they've done for this game in years.
So what does this mean exactly? I don't understand.
It's hard to explain.
You're sure about this?
Absolutely.
And what about us?
Do you know what you're getting yourself into?
I do.
Dad would be proud of me.
Thanks.
Choices. At every step of our paths,
I'll give you a hand.
they're what drive where we go.
I decided where I'm going to be going to school next year.
And the hardest choices,
Where?
the ones that impact the most people,
What's up, bro? What you doing here, man?
Hey, little man. We gotta talk.
What's up?
I finally decided where I'm going to play.
Okay.
and embrace the most uncertainty.
Navy? Like the military?
I'm going to West Point.
They define our lives forever.
The Army.
No. No. Mom and Dad won't let this happen.
They make this choice, knowing all the expectations, knowing all the work, all the risk.
Actually, we were kind of shocked because he had never mentioned any interest in the military before. Knowing what could come with that, that's not an easy decision.
It's not for the faint of heart.
I am 7 years old.
Mommy believes this is the greatest country on earth, and we believe it too. So that's why we're here.
We all know how precious spending time with them is. So you give up that.
They're not yours anymore. They belong to the Navy.
Look how big you guys are.
You are signing up to lay down your life for someone else.
I just admire the ability to make such a difficult choice.
It's much, much bigger than football.
They don't come to these academies to be recognized. They don't make this choice to be cheered. But once a year, there is a chance to celebrate them. The Army-Navy game.
It's the greatest sporting event in the country.
It's very impressive.
I mean, there's generals and admirals and the flybys.
We're basically all on the same team.
It's a healthy rivalry, but it's a rivalry.
There's pageantry and there's passion, but there's also a game to watch and a chance to celebrate the choice they've made.
Go Army! Navy! Go Navy! Beat Army!
I got some pom-poms upstairs. You want me to get them?
Go cute! Beat Navy! Again.
Go Navy!
We're originally from Nigeria. I wasn't a fan then, but I'm the biggest fan now.
All along, throughout their life, you're trying to guide them, and you just are overwhelmed with pride.
He's always been good about keeping an eye out for others, and it's pretty much how he lives his life.
My pride is in the type of person he is. His choices have taught us things.
They are your heart and soul. But sacrificing for the country is a big deal to him. So, yeah.
It makes me happy. It makes my heart smile.
He's there. He's willing to give it all for everybody else. And I mean, how many parents can say that about their kids? How many? Not a lot.
They've chosen to sacrifice.
Just be safe, bro.
To serve. It takes a different kind of kid to commit to this path. Now today in a football game, celebrate the courage of every man and woman ever to make that commitment. This is Army-Navy.
Yeah, it was an incredible event, and to give credit where credit is due, Craig Silver and his group produced the Army-Navy game and did an unbelievable job. Pete Radakovich and the whole crew behind the scenes at CBS Sports produced that piece. And that is, like I said, that's as good as it gets, and they should be very proud of that. And if you enjoyed that, just repost that and let that thing go on forever, because everybody should see that open. It's just incredible. So I'm proud to work for them, but thank you so much to CBS Sports. All right, like I said, no interview this week. Time to go directly to Unsafe Spaces Sports. All right, so if you didn't see the game, it finished up a 7-point difference. Army winning for the third year in a row. They played considerably better. Navy piled up most of their yards sort of at the end of the fourth quarter as the game was sort of being decided. And the final score was a little bit misleading. Navy took advantage of some breaks. They did fumble the ball in the plus territory a couple of times, once inside the 5. So the score could have been different, but could-haves don't count. Navy turned the ball over 4 times. Army turned the ball over 0. They had less penalties. They had less everything, except for points. Army wins this game 17-10, and deservedly so. So, no, that's a three-peat, and you heard that a lot after that game. It was pretty incredible. The other big sports news in the world of college football of this weekend was the Heisman Trophy. And Kyler Murray of Oklahoma won that in a close vote over Tua Tagovailoa of Alabama. But Kyler Murray wins it. And there is some stuff that came out immediately after, which I guess we can't be surprised, for tweets that Kyler Murray put out, like 7 years ago when he was 14, 15 years old, 8 years ago. I'm not surprised that kids have this in their background. I'm a little surprised that a big program like Oklahoma hadn't scrubbed all that. But Kyler Murray did the best thing possible. He took it on head on. He apologized. He said it was wrong, and he's moving on. And as we see a lot, some of the types on Twitter, the trolls, they won't let it die. But this is a really good kid, and he's your Heisman Trophy winner for 2018. Next up in the world of sports was hirings over the weekend. I think this is a great one here by Georgia Tech. Jeff Collins is an excellent coach, and he will make a huge difference for Georgia Tech. They're going to be a different kind of football team with Jeff Collins in charge. One of the other hires over the weekend that was announced was at Liberty, and they hired Hugh Freeze, who had a, I guess, less than impressive end to his career when he was head coach at Ole Miss. But Liberty has decided to take a chance on Hugh Freeze and take a chance on the fact that he won't have any kind of a fallback or regression in some of the behavior that got him outed or ousted at Ole Miss. And the last one that I want to recognize, I think it was a great job done, was by Louisville. Louisville hired Scott Satterfield, who's the head coach at Appalachian State. He's now the head coach at Louisville. This guy is going to make a gigantic difference, and people in the ACC will hate that this guy is in the ACC. He is really, really a good coach. Next up in the world of sports, Atlanta finally got their championship. It's as we record this, it's Monday, and they're having a parade in Atlanta because Atlanta is a city of a champion. You're now a soccer city, Atlanta. Congratulations. No more worrying about that 28-3 in the Super Bowl. No more worrying about all those World Series in the 90s where you didn't win. No more worries about baseball, basketball, football. Hockey died a couple times here. Yeah, don't worry about those major sports. You've got a championship in the MLS. Nice job. Wow. You need your blankie to keep you warm, and an MLS championship, you're going to be good to go. All right, let's move on now to our Wambulance of the week. And again, it's a little bit of the theme of the Army-Navy game. And I recognize fully that praying's not for everybody. And praying actually gets a lot of people pretty butthurt, especially when it happens in public. So having said that, if you're of that ilk and don't like anything and are a huge proponent of a separation of sort of church and state thing, you might not want to watch this. This was the invocation this weekend at Army-Navy.
God of wonder, some wonder why we pray for a football game. So I tell them, in this game, every player on the field is willing to die for every person watching. And there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for what's truly good. And so, God, I do pray for these players on this field and all the good they represent. Their fellow cadets and midshipmen, soldiers, sailors, Marines, firefighters, first responders, police, and countless others who lay down their lives daily in our defense. Because in your eyes, oh God, it is not the critic who counts, but those who actually step into the arena. And so, Almighty God, we who are willing to die for others, we salute you. Let this game begin. Amen.
Again, a pretty good highlight from Saturday in Army-Navy, and very well-chosen words by the chaplain. All right, let's move right along and get a little feel-good story in.
I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? 'Cause I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world.
All right, for feel-good lately, you can count on two things. Bubbly happy faces and dog stories. Well, you got another dog story coming at you today, and when you look at that, the first thing you say is, "Rrr." But this story, I have to say in beginning, before I roll this video, has been trolled as being fake. It's been trolled as being set up. I really don't care. If it's real and a real rescue, great. If it's not, I've never owned a dog. I could train to do this. But you know what? I think it's really pretty cool. And if you want to be out there dogging the video and saying you don't like it, hey, easy solution. Don't watch it. Here you go. great job by the German Shepherd. And again, if he was trained to do that, that's pretty impressive. If it's a real rescue, that's pretty impressive. Either way, very impressive. All right, I want to remind you out there how you sort of found this and where you can spread the word on Unsafe Spaces USA is you can go to Twitter, you can go to YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Facebook. You can go to unsafespaces.com. You can go to randycross.com. If you have any input or suggestions on stories, producer at unsafespacesUSA.com. And we're getting close. It's about 2 weeks away from Christmas. And if there's anything out there that is always fun to watch, it's when you have that epic battle between a cat and a Christmas tree. Happy trails.
Happy trails.